Hey everybody, Michael Snyder here, National Weather Outlook. Today's June 15th, and right now we're looking at the mid-level water vapor loop. You can see it's a bit of a spin in the atmosphere here. It's going to help kick off some severe storms across the south central region here. We'll take a look at that in a moment. We've got some excessive heat across some of Texas and Louisiana as well, and some potential flooding across some other areas like Wyoming, maybe even Utah down towards Las Vegas. We'll look at that here in a moment as well. Now, taking a look at the severe storm outlook today, you can see the moderate risk here across a lot of Oklahoma down into some northern portions of Texas, back up into Kansas and the Oklahoma Panhandle. If you look here, you see that 10% tornado risk here. Some of this is going to be some embedded activity here because it might be initially discrete storms here, but you're probably going to get some big segments and lines here as you go through the late afternoon into the evening hours. And here is the, I think this is the wind threat here. Yes, it is. And you can see this hatched area for big wind gusts, potentially over 65 knots. And you can see this pink area here. That's 45% chance of wind damage within a 25-mile point across that area. So some pretty damaging severe winds expected today. This is hail also, and you can see some big hail expected here. More on that here in a moment. In fact, looking at that right now, look at this. Severe hazards will be very large hails are just 4 inches in diameter. Just incredible hail size. That can actually damage roofs, not to mention what it will do to vehicles and crops out there. And wind gusts up to 80 miles per hour. Very intense. And you can kind of see where these initial discrete storms will set up across some of the Oklahoma Panhandle, Texas Panhandle, back up into Colorado and Kansas. Then it becomes more of a line of storms and probably more of a widespread threat here as it moves down across Oklahoma towards northern Texas. Here we're looking at the NAM 3KM. This is surface-based CAPE, and I just want to kind of show you guys what's going on here. Look at the instability building in the atmosphere here, and you can see the initial firing of some of these thunderstorms here across some of the Panhandle areas, and then they propagate through the CAPE back down towards northern Texas here as you go on into the later evening and nighttime hours here. But just kind of an interesting look at how this convective available potential energy develops. And then as we go into tomorrow, you can kind of see where those thunderstorms developed the day prior here and the deeper CAPE further off to the south. But you will have a severe storm chance here across some of Oklahoma and extreme northeastern New Mexico tomorrow as well. This is looking at the change in wind, this wind shear in height, basically between 0 and 6 kilometers, about 18, 20,000 feet in the atmosphere, the lowest 18 and 20,000 feet. You can kind of see how this shear, and that's going to be moving through that extremely unstable air mass. That's why we're expecting these severe storms in these regions today. Here we're looking at surface wind speeds here, 80-meter wind speed on the NAM 3KM. You can kind of see the southeast winds here coming up to where the storms are going to develop as you go through the afternoon today. And then look at some of these wind speeds here with some of these lines and segments of these storms here as they start to plow across Oklahoma today. So that's why these severe thunderstorm warnings are going to be in effect during the day today. Here we're looking at dew point temperature, and this is kind of the fuel of it. You need this deeper moisture. You see the proximity to the Gulf, and it helps feed this moisture up here in here. And it's why we don't get a lot of these severe storms up for, the Pacific Northwest and California. You just don't have this kind of moisture content to deal with in a lot of the thunderstorm activity. And that's why these storms are so strong. They've got direct access to this fuel here that comes off the Gulf of Mexico. Here we're looking at 500 millibar heights here, and this is actual, the winds aloft towards 18,000 feet, and you kind of see this troughing moving through the area today, so it's going to spawn some of these severe thunderstorms here. So you need that combination of that deep moisture and the strong winds aloft to get the best severe storms. This is looking down towards Brownfield, Texas. Look at some of the temperatures down here. I mean, hot and breezy. Some of these temperature indexes are going to be well over 100 degrees for a lot of the area. This is for Lake Charles, Louisiana. Look at some of these apparent temperatures, just ridiculous. Woodville here, 112 degrees. Lake Charles, 107. Morgan City, 103. Hard to get relief in temperatures of those types. And one of the things about these national videos, I'm going to try to go over some of the more interesting graphics here. And this is National Weather Service Galveston. The heat is clearly on here, and you can see temperatures here over the next few days remaining quite warm here. Nice, interesting graphic there. And this is for Galveston, Texas as well. You've got heat advisories all over the place. Heat index up to 112 degrees here. So be careful if you're out there down across the south. This is flood watch here, Wyoming. Check it out. This does include some of western Nebraska here as well. This got a lot of rainfall coming here for Thursday through Friday with isolated higher amounts, heavy rainfall from slow-moving thunderstorms and moving over the same area. We'll look at that map here in a moment. I'll back out here a bit again. Here's southern Utah flash flooding potential. Also, you can see some of these national parks do expect the possibility for some flash flooding as we go. Now, this is looking at that. There's Wyoming. Here's Utah here, but we'll also watch back down towards Las Vegas, even out towards the deserts of California with this map. As we go through the day-to-day, you can see some of these thunderstorms pop up across some of southeast Wyoming into western Nebraska, all the way back down across Utah. And look at this kind of stationary front almost setting up here down across some areas of Las Vegas. Does not take much to bring some pretty extreme flooding down there, so this might get interesting, folks, especially as you go out towards some of the canyons here in Utah. And then you can see the continued precipitation all the way through Friday morning across some areas of Wyoming as those kick off. Then you see the severe thunderstorm threat kick off across eastern Colorado as you go on in through Friday and Friday night. And this is kind of highlighting that National Weather Service, Las Vegas. Check it out. Storm chances today. Strong gusty winds, localized heavy rain, and some hail is even possible here. So gotta watch out here across the St. George region as well. Some potential flooding is going to be arriving with some of these storms. And this is the flash flooding. I encountered some of this in New Mexico here. You look at even just 6 inches to a foot of water moving across a roadway rapidly. You know, it can start to sweep you off your feet here, and it only takes about 2 feet, and it can wash away most cars here. So turn around, don't drown. 2023 Monsoon Awareness Week. The National Weather Service is doing a lot of graphics on that as well. But anyway, yeah, I just thought I'd try this out here. I'll go over some of the more interesting weather going on across the country and try to focus on that, bring up the National Weather Service forecast pages and their graphics as well, and explain the meteorology behind it a little bit here and see how these briefings go as well. I'll probably kick up another briefing for California tomorrow, just because we'll talk about that big trough coming for the Pacific Northwest, going to affect a lot of the areas of the West as well. We'll see what kind of changes have risen in those forecasts here as we go on in through the day tomorrow. But anyway, hope you guys are liking this video. Let me know what you guys think about this national outlook here. Of course, I'll fine-tune it over time. It's just kind of an initial experiment here. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. We'll do this again tomorrow, and I'll do my Pacific Northwest briefing and probably a California one tomorrow as well. So anyway, I will talk to you guys later.